Hey everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. It is Tuesday, March 1st, 2022, and today I figured we would do something a little bit more challenging today. I wanted to have a more difficult talk, more, what is the word I'm looking for? Something a little bit more challenging than what I normally do, and I try to push strong foundational skills whenever I have these talks because I think there's something extremely relevant and important about having a strong foundation. But today we're going to step it up a notch. This is going to be more towards the moderate to difficult, and it's going to be more theory, but I think it's still extremely important. So just kind of bear with me and take a moment to digest as we start this conversation. So grab your favorite drink of choice before we get started, whether warm or cold, and here we go. So normally when I'm out and about and having, either day-to-day conversations with friends or one of the nice things about having people within your circle, and I always try to push uh, having people in your circle that not only challenge your ideas, but also make you feel welcome. And one of the things that I like to do when I meet up with people within my circle is to have theoretical conversations or to pose questions. And the question that I actually wanted to bring up is actually the topic for today, the multiplicity and community of you. The multiplicity and community of you. So, the question that I would like to pose for everyone who's listening: would you rather have to lose all of your old memories or the ability to make new ones? And to kind of further explain this before I repeat it, if you were to lose all of your old memories, you don't hit the reset button, you're not being reborn again, but you will just lose all of your old memories and start exactly however old you are right at this moment. Or would you lose the ability to make new memories? And this was actually the conversation that I started with one of my friends. And I think it's extremely important to not only really think about both of those, and I think some of you may actually already know which one you would probably choose in between the two, but I still think it's very important. So when I posed this question to one of the people that are within my circle, she's actually a female within 28 to 35 range. I asked her this question, and her response was she would rather sacrifice all of her old memories to keep the ability to make new ones. And I think it's important to really know why. So when I asked her why would you sacrifice all the experiences and memories that you've had? And she said, well, she enjoys trying new things, and there were still many things that she wanted to do, which is why she was willing to sacrifice everything that she had done up until that point. So I took a moment to kind of think about what it was that she said. And again, what's nice about having these conversations with those that you're closest to within your circle is, regardless right or wrong, this is all theory, so there's technically no wrong answer. However, when it came to this specific question, there was something definitely that I knew I had an answer for. So again, to repeat the question, would you rather have to lose all of your old memories or the ability to make new ones? And again, you're staying the same age, but you either forget everything that you did up until today and make new memories, or you just lose the ability to make new memories and keep everything that's old. I personally would sacrifice the ability to make new memories just to keep all the old memories that I have up until this point. And I'll repeat that. I would rather keep every good and bad memory that I've ever had up until this point and sacrifice the ability to make new memories. And this is specifically why I would do this. And again, if you think differently, that's perfectly fine. But again, I kind of want to just drive this idea, this thought. And maybe there are some things that we can agree on. Maybe, even if I say my piece, if you disagree, that's perfectly fine. But I think there's something to be said about every memory that you have. There's something to be said of every good and bad memory that you have as a person. I like to think that, again, let's just talk about, generics, the average person. The average person you would think would, try to make choices that would be, positive in their favor, not try to do anyone wrong or anything like that. And again, this is a generalization. We're going to try to keep this as simple as possible. But all these experiences that you've had up until this point, those experiences are valuable because they assist you in making better decisions for the future. And again, I'll repeat that. Maybe it was that one time that you were going down the hill on a bicycle and you didn't check the bicycle to see if the brakes were working before you went down the hill. And maybe you fell off the bicycle and scraped your knees, and that ended up being a very bad memory. At least the next time when you get on that bicycle, you're going to check to make sure that the brakes work before you go down the hill and try to do anything reckless or, maybe just kids being kids or anything like that. So I like to think that this inherent ability that humans have to remember, even if it's recalling specifically bad memories, I would like to think it's in your best interest to keep those. That way you don't repeat history, so to speak. That way you don't make the same mistakes that you made before. And that's how I want to kind of tie into today's topic, the multiplicity and community of you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up this picture right here. Back in the before time, for any of my younger listeners, there used to be this movie, came out in 1996. It's called Multiplicity. It's with Andy McDowell and Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton, as you can see right here, there's many of him, and I actually cropped this that way it would fit on screen. In this movie, Michael Keaton discovered a method to be able to clone himself. And kind of the idea that I want to try to continue on with this conversation of keeping all these memories that you've had up until this point, I think is inherently useful. So in the movie, he cloned himself, and instead of getting perfect clones of himself, it actually ended up cloning certain personalities of the original character. So if you've never seen the movie before, it's kind of a fun movie. I would recommend it. I wouldn't say it would be one of my top 10 movies, but it's definitely a memorable movie that I can definitely watch multiple times and not get tired of it. But the main character, he clones himself. The first copy of him is the try hard, work hard, kind of manly version of himself, and then the second copy is kind of the sensitive version of himself. And then well, I won't spoil the rest of it, but just to kind of give you an idea of what exactly and how this kind of movie develops. So if we think of this ability that Michael Keaton's character in the movie Multiplicity had, think of yourself as a community of yous. And again, this may be the first time you've ever heard this before, and that's perfectly fine. Again, this is kind of a moderate level of difficulty of discussion, but think of your own personal self as a community of yous. And that may sound extremely confusing because self is individual, however, community is group. And the reason or the way that I would necessarily tie all this together, we have the you of you right now, the you of now. If you think back when you were 5, when you were 10, maybe when you were a teenager, the things that you were interested in that time, perhaps the promises that you made to yourself or to others, and whether or not it became a positive or negative experience, I would like to think that this community of yous, the you of the past or the you of right now, you're going to make choices or hopefully make choices that will honor the you of the future. So if we were to take a you each and every day, or let's say a you of today, a you of 1 week from today, a you of 30 days later, a you of 1 year later, and maybe one of 10 years later. If we put all of those yous into one room, would you be able to look at yourself in the eye? Would you be able to say, hey, I tried to do the best I could, positive or negative? Would you be able to still face yourself? Not necessarily, let's not even bring in family, friends, or anything like that, but making choices that inherently honor you. Could you actually sit in a room with yourself and get along with yourself, whether it was your future self speaking to current you or your current self speaking to future you? And having all these individual people, and again, one thing that I try to teach and mentor when I'm actually mentoring, whether it's youth or maybe someone that's slightly younger than me, one of the things that's really hard to teach or describe to someone who hasn't lived very long, and again, I'm going to be very careful when I describe this because it's going to sound almost ageist, and that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the youth that may potentially hear this video. It's more so when you're mentoring someone, it's really hard to describe the value of all those experiences that you've gained. It's really hard to describe the value of having a network, having reliable people in your circle to someone who's never experienced either. They've never gained experience before. They've never had people that they could rely on them that would not only check them if they were wrong, but still have their back. Or maybe if you had that bad day and you needed to give them a call, you had that 1 hour of desperation, and knowing that that person would come to your aid. They may be very upset that you woke them up at 2 in the morning, but they still drove their car to come give you a ride. Having a reliable network that holds you accountable and gaining experience are two of the most difficult things to really teach someone that's younger than yourself. And if I could drive any key points home for those that are still, in their prime or still younger, maybe they're in their teens, late teens, early 20s, finding and surrounding yourself with people that will hold you accountable will pay dividends, not only for making sure that you stay on track. They act like kind of like a cheerleader. They inspire you to do better. And there's a lot to be said about intangible rewards that go along with it. I'm going to go ahead and switch on this other picture that I found. This is a picture of all the different of characters of Michael Keaton. We have the one sitting down in the blue and gray. That one's the original. We have the manly one standing up, the sensitive one on the left, and then kind of the goofy one on the right. So with that being said, I just wanted to come on briefly and have this really quick chat regarding the multiplicity and community of you. I know it's kind of a moderately difficult discussion. If you were able to follow along, I greatly appreciate you not only listening in, leave a comment down in the comment section. Maybe the assistance that you provide can help others that didn't quite get the lesson that was presented, and that's actually okay. I think in time, as long as you stay loyal to you and make the best possible choices for yourself, the you of tomorrow will thank you. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. And remember, you're always welcome here. But we sure as hell aren't for everyone. Have a wonderful week.